guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought it would be fun to do a little different video. I know my recent videos have all been pretty much just about pregnancy and stuff. So today I wanted to make a video with the advice that I would give to anyone who wants to be married one day. You could be single right now, dating, engaged, whatever. So this video is kind of going to be in two sections. So the first part, I'm going to talk about the advice I'd give if you are single or dating and you want to get married. And the second part will be more for people who are already engaged. So even if you're not married or engaged yet, you might be thinking like, oh, I definitely know I want to get married one day. I knew that I wanted to get married one day. Even before Daniel and I were dating, engaged, whatever, I knew that I wanted to get married. And I will say, like, not everyone is called to get married or will get married, and that's totally fine. But it's also completely normal to desire to want to get married. So I think it's important to be prepared and to get yourself ready for that. For people that are single or just dating right now, my advice to you, the best tips that I can give you are: one, save money. Just start saving money now. Be very wise with your money. Maybe look into a budgeting program or look up on Google different financial people that are very popular and very wise. So don't just pick one person and don't even bother looking for anyone else. I would recommend looking up Dave Ramsey. I know some people don't like his methods as much, but that's what my parents did and that's what they taught us, and it can be very effective if you follow that. My advice is start learning about money, start thinking about it. Don't stress about it and don't limit yourself from having fun experiences, but just be wise and don't just throw your money away because you're young and not tied down. Just be smart. You don't have to be like the whole rest of the world or what everyone thinks that young people should be doing. Another thing that you can do when you're waiting to get married and desiring that relationship one day is to invest in your friends, your siblings, your parents. Invest your time into those relationships, because if you can take the time to just love them and spend time with them while you have it, like before you leave your house or get married or whatever, that'll be a really valuable time for you guys. And yeah, you won't get it back. You won't regret spending that time with them. Another thing that you can do if you are, especially if you're still living at home, or this can also apply to you if you live on your own, live at college, live in a dorm, whatever the case is, you can practice taking care of your space and kind of just pretend like this is my house. Like, obviously when I lived at home, I had my bedroom and I did not take the best care of it. I wish I did. But if you want to kind of practice like different homemaking skills or whatever, you can practice keeping your areas of the house clean, organized, just homey and inviting and that kind of thing. There's also a really good video about this topic. I will link it down below. It is Mrs. Midwest. If you have not watched her channel or checked it out, you definitely should. Her videos are awesome. So yes, I will link her down below. Make sure you check it out. Another thing that I think is important to keep in mind, either when you're single or dating and kind of waiting to be engaged, waiting to be married, whatever, is to enjoy the season that you're in. Don't just wish it away because you're really excited to be married or engaged or dating, whatever. There are special things in every season that you're going to be in, and so when you're single, it's going to look a whole lot different than when you're married. So you're never going to have that time back. So wherever you are, try to just enjoy where you are and don't wish it away just because you want the next thing. Just enjoy where you're at and invest yourself where you are. My next bit of advice is for couples who are dating that are talking about getting engaged. So if you are in this position, I would highly advise you to seek counsel from couples who are older than you and wiser than you. For Daniel and I, we talked with our parents and our youth pastor. And I don't remember, I think I also talked with my grandparents. So we just sought out some good godly wisdom and advice and just asked them kind of what they thought and how we could prepare before engagement, before marriage, whatever. Just try to get the ball rolling and just get thinking about it. I would definitely advise you to do that. It's so important to seek counsel. So Proverbs 15:22 says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. So that can literally be anything, and marriage is something that is huge and life-changing. So yeah, definitely take the time to invest in preparing even before there's a ring on your finger. The other thing that I would say, if you're dating and wanting to be engaged, Daniel and I read through these books together. I believe it was called For His Eyes Only and For Her Eyes Only. It might have been mine, but I'm pretty sure it was Eyes. And basically, the one that was written for the women kind of talked about how guys' minds worked, and the one that was written for men talked about how women's minds worked. So I got this idea from Brittany, and I will link her channel down below as well. But I remember she recommended that book, and I believe I just got them on eBay for cheap. And so what Daniel and I did is we switched the books. So I read the one that was for men and he read the one that was for women. And we went through and we kind of highlighted or took notes or jotted down things that were true for us or were not true for us, why or why not. That was like a really good, so that was a good experience for us to read through those. And I still have the book somewhere, and it's kind of cool because we wrote in them and took some notes and stuff, so it's special to have those. But if you are thinking about getting engaged, that's awesome because it starts some different conversations and can open your eyes to some other things. So it can be super helpful. Another book, I don't know the author, but another good book that you could read is called The Sacred Search. The Sacred Search. There's a group of young ladies at my church going through that right now. I'm not going through it because it's for before you get married, but it seems like a really good book. So the next section of advice is going to be if you are engaged. The first thing that I would say if you are engaged is just save money and seriously start thinking about a budget and start practicing one before you get married, because that has been our hardest struggle, like money-wise, is having a budget and sticking to it. So we're still learning, but if you can start practicing, then that'll make the transition easier for you. If you are engaged, do premarital counseling. So we did ours again with our pastor who officiated our wedding. He's one of our friends too. I just would highly recommend doing that. It's important because it kind of gets everything out on the table. You don't want to go into marriage with having like some dark, hidden, scary secrets that are going to surface in 5, 10, who knows how many years. On the other side of that, you also want to talk about your major life goals, what you want to do about kids, what you would do if you lost your job, like certain situations that come up. You want to kind of walk through how you might react to that. And it's important because you need to see what your potential future spouse, how they might react, how they plan to handle money, raise kids, all that. So it's important to talk about that before you get married because you want to make sure that you're on the same page when you do get married. Another thing to think about if you are engaged if you're engaged is what kind of birth control, if any, you want to use. There are tons of different options. I would recommend looking into all of them and see which ones suit your needs. Whatever you think is the right choice for you, just look into it and decide ahead of time. And natural family planning is another option. There's an amazing book, I will link it down below. It's called Taking Charge of Your Fertility, and it was one of the most eye-opening books that I ever read. So I'd highly recommend that. Even if you're not engaged, just read that book if you're a woman because it talks about your body. Another thing to keep in mind if you're engaged is to be present in the moment. Obviously you're a lot closer to being married than you were before, but again, this is a different season and you're never going to be in one just like this. So again, don't wish it all away. Enjoy the different things that come throughout all of it and just take time to like think about what's going on, be present, focused, and try not to stress as much as possible. When it comes to wedding planning, try not to stress because that will just kind of put a damper on your mood at times. So if people volunteer to help, let them help. I should say, if you know yourself, if you're one person that can let go of control and kind of designate it to other people, then do that. And if you know yourself and it's just going to stress you out more if other people are doing things, then do what is going to be less stressful for you. Engaged and thinking about getting married, there can be a lot of thoughts going through your mind. It can be kind of overwhelming. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, try to keep in mind that the changes that are about to happen are good and they're not all going to be easy, but it's going to be exciting. You're going to create new memories with your spouse, and it's just going to be a completely different journey, and it's not going to be like anything that you've done so far. So just keep an open mind. Don't set expectations on yourself, on your fiance. Just do your own thing and don't compare it to what other people are doing. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you have other advice, definitely leave it down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't subscribe. Whoa. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.